Hey guys, welcome to another lesson of Pro Teacher Dupe. Today I have with me Nick.
Let's go.
And as a follow-up to our previous video, we're doing the follow-up to Batman Two Faces with the Superman monster. As we are and well, and from the last video we dealt with Commissioner Gordon and Perry White meeting at the Iceberg Lounge as part of a story sharing club. Any stories that are told within the club must remain within the club. So Gordon talked to our story of basically Batman mixed with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, where Batman was Jekyll and Joker was Hyde. But
That
this
was a
one we
great
get
story.
the Superman monster. Now let's just dive right in. Come on,
Let's
come
go.
on. Well, well, old friend, I think you promised me a story. Only fair exchange, one for the yarn I spun. Thank you, Strengths. My dear Commissioner, never be said that an old newspaper man like Peregrine White would withhold a lurid story. But I warn you, James, it's not a tale for the faint-hearted. It is a raw matter of chilling tragedy and crime against Mother Nature herself. And after all my years on the Gotham Constabulary, I'll wager there's little that could still shock me. Perhaps we'll see. As we then set up, we're introduced to Vicktor Luthor, who is pretty
Mhm.
much our Victor Frankenstein of this story.
Okay.
Yep. Um, Air Luthor, you are tardy. It is well past the hour when this tribunal was due to convene. I'm here now, Professor Hamilton. Perhaps you can enlighten me as to the purpose of this charade. Kindly remind the items of the agenda, Professor Westfield. It has come to our attention that you have engaged in certain proscribed and practices in relation to your research, included the misappropriation of human anatomical specimens. I was truly distressed, Herr Luthor, when I learned the nature of your recent experimentation. Have you anything to say? Only that the blinkered conservatism of spent minds such as yourself is shackling the advancement of natural philosophy. Is your appetite for discovery so blunted that you cannot see the possibilities that now await our scientific endeavors? The intimate workings of life are ours to unlock, and through them we may possess mastery over death itself. I am a modern Prometheus, bringing to light the knowledge of the darkened world. To dare hinder the work of a man who is close to unlocking the enigmas of vitality, close to freeing mankind from the bonds of his mortality. And those are the words of the devil. You stain the air with your blasphemies. The boy is clearly deluded. What right do we have, men? And what right do we, as men, have to undertake the role of God? We are sensitive to your past, Victor. The tragic loss of your parents at such a young age. We feel this may explain your unhealthy drive to conquer death. My colleague speaks for us all. Nevertheless, we have no choice but to suspend the funding of your research. You prehistoric fools! Do you have any conception of the miraculous possibilities you are turning your backs on? Do you, young man, have conception of the sacrilegious nature of your course you pursue? Should you try to continue with your obscene tinkering, we will report you to the church and the justice of the peace. And then who knows? Prison, the madhouse, execution for crimes against the laws of gods? Oh, yes, the ultimate irony. Punishment by death for pursuing the mysteries of life. I abhor your lack of faith. You disgust me with your primitive whining and
He's
steadfast
laying
embrace
it
of
on.
old tired beliefs. I pray that future generations will forgive the way you all stubbornly refuse to yield to the potential wonder of my work. It's Lex! Lex is
Yeah,
perfectly
that's
like
Lex.
Frankenstein.
Yeah, that's Lex.
Yep. And Victor? Victor. Oh, Victor, I thought I might find you here. It has been days since we last saw you at the house. Eloise, aka Lois, Eloise, my love,
Oh,
forgive me. There have been things playing upon my mind. You know how earnestly I long for my work to bear fruit, and yet everywhere I am hindered and gainsaid. As you long for me, Victor, for you, my dearest Eloise, I would cast aside my life's work upon an instant. Then why do you lock yourself away in your laboratory? We have made no further plan for our wedding since the match was first decided in the spring. I sometimes believe you love your tomes and philistries more truly than you love me. You know that my father, the burgomaster, has been so against our union. but in these last weeks I have softened his resolve. Now would be a good time to take advantage of his more favorable demeanor. He has softened, you say? Then perhaps I should renew our discussion about arrangements and the dowry. Eloise, and edge. I adore you with every fiber of my loving soul, and I crave your forgiveness for the way I have neglected with these past few days. Oh no! He's going to
Uh-oh.
use this wedding to get money from the dowry.
Oh, yeah, he's using it.
Yep, that
He's
is a
so he's never that nice. He's only when something's plotting behind it.
right. He's been willing to put off the wedding for a while. He does care for her. That much is clear. But now he sees an advantage.
So that's typical Lex
Oh, Victor, you cannot know how happy this makes me. I too am happy. Very happy.
for his
To which,
own
yeah,
reasons, though.
yep. Eloise, you dance divinely. I pray I am marked. It is at a party, marked for your dance card for the next quadrille. My dear, you fill my card for the entire night. A moment, Eloise. I see your father. Ah, Booger Master, a fine evening, is it not? Eh,
Generally,
yeah, well, he's by his Burger Master, which is a lord.
okay.
Oh, Luthor, it's you. Yes, fine enough. Perhaps the time has come for us to discuss the mechanics of the nuptial agreement, and we might start with your thoughts on the dowry. I might have known, you money-grabbing runt. That's all my beloved daughter means to you, isn't it? The money. Know that I can see through your transparent romantic overtures. You will never get your hands on sweet Eloise money. My lords have drawn up a visceral contract. It denies you access to her finances. You'll not fritter away her inheritance on your misguided experimentation. Victor, what is it? Victor? Victor! He goes out, but then something crashes. A meteor. It's the Kryptonian birthing matrix from Superman. But when he
Okay.
goes there, it opens up. Young Kal-El did not survive. He's a skeleton. Wait until you see the artwork when this premieres. It opens in the name of God. Merciful Lord, what is that? But yeah, a young baby skeleton in a fetal position,
Okay.
and the next. But then we get the message from Jor-El, Kal-El of Krypton. I am your father. Know that with the greatest sadness I exiled you from our dying world in the hope that some other planet might render support to your frail being. By means of this telelinguistic holostat, I am able to be seen by you, to be known by you. Through the device, I hope I may educate you and bequeath you the perfect science of Krypton. Learn, my son. Learn that this cradle that has borne you through unimaginable distance of space holds the key to your life. Its systems will protect you, guide you, heal you. It will be the father I could not be. It will be your
Nothing to do.
salvation. Unfortunately, it clearly malfunctioned.
Yeah.
Vicktor Luthor witnessed this wonder, beheld his astonishing power, and all he could think was, my prayers have been answered. So he brings it to his lab, looking through, studying and evaluating every secret the light ghost named Jor-El explained to him. But still he was not satisfied. Something was missing. Who calls this late? Ah, just a resurrection man. Resurrection man! Ha! That's an actual character. He's basically a guy who goes and digs up the bodies for him. Take a look at my
Oh,
wares, all you asked for, Herr Luthor. Oh, and more. Besides, you've done as you were asked. Then give me what I asked for. Your payment, friend. Gold for dead flesh, as is in the exchange. He then gives them the money, but then it's a pleasure doing business with you. Points a gun at him, save for one thing, Herr Body Snatcher. Rumor is the village has it that you're an informer, and no one must know what I do.
oh,
He then takes all the bodies at the directions of Jor-El. He then builds his own revival matrix, similar to what brought Superman back from the
okay.
dead.
Yeah, the regeneration matrix.
Placed the jigsaw montage of a cadavers into his warm bath. And as he did, he aligned purpose built. Basically he's using the resurrection matrix as basically the means of bringing, the man to
Kryptonians
life.
back. Yeah.
Yep, and as everything was in place. And this matches the original book, which didn't do the whole "Give my fear the creature life." None of that.
Okay.
but he had the liquids frost bubbling all over the body. And then lightning strikes, and then, yes, I have manufactured life from death. I have learned the secrets of God. I have done it and done it. It lives! As we see Superman standing up with the Kal-El S symbol on him. But what lived? It shuffled forward, and the candlelight revealed for the first time the corpse-like pallor of the human parody it created, and horror filled Luthor's mortal soul. Then the greatest horror of all. Father! No! Stay back! Perhaps Luthor feared for his life, but more he feared for his reputation. He saw all too clearly the mockery and ridicule he would receive for his grotesque failure. His blind fumbling overturned benches, igniting chemicals, but the creature seemed immune to the flame, as if possessed of superhuman vitality. Not so Luthor. Explosions tore through the laboratory as a bunch of wood falls on top of him. But then, what the creature and lifts it up. Dear Lord, have mercy. And he then starts sweeping his arms around, blowing out blowing out the fire. Luthor ran. He believed his creation meant to kill him. In truth, it seemed determined to carry him to safety. As he flies, how it carried him
Wow.
proved to Luthor at last that he had not created a man, but rather some monstrosity and monstrous Superman. As they fly off, lightning strikes Superman as they crash. It hurls them back to the ground like angels cast out of heaven. When Luthor's senses returned, it was dawn. But for the ruin of the manse and the smell of smoke on the air, there was no sign that the night's events had been anything more than a dream. Luthor hurried back to town to hide his own guilt. He raised the militia to hunt for a monster he said he had seen in the woods. He set a reward. With the monster dead, his secret would be safe. Little did he realize the creation had also been drawn to the noise and activity of the town. It skullied in shadow, hungry and afraid, alert to every voice and sound. The lowing in the cattle market, the children playing in the squares. His hearing, in other words.
Okay.
The panic and motion of a runaway team, the screams of the carriage, helpless occupants, as we see him grab a runaway cart, lifting him up just like Action Comics #1, complete
Yeah.
with the guy running towards the camera like, "Ah!" Who can say what drove it to its action? Some basic
I
human
get a
response.
kick out of when they do that, bro.
Yep. To another in need, whatever the reason, the creature flew from the shadows and revealed itself in the most unforgettable way. In the stunned silence and that followed, the creature set the carriage down and freed its occupants. It's a woman. How? How were you able to? You saved my life. Don't look so afraid. There's nothing to. A monster! It's a monster! Kill it before it slaughters us all! Kill it! They throw things at him. Run! It'll go. Run! As they all run off, as he runs, then flies into the air. And then he eventually makes his way to the Kents, or the Cants as they were called. They had just lost a son in a foreign war, and grief stricken, they go and he hides. They don't realize that he's hiding in their barn until a bear is attacking Jonathan. He goes and saves him, throwing the bear flying into the woods. Oh my lord! Has the Lord answered my prayer? Are you an angel, my boy? The cats then raise him. They're like the blind man, but they actually help teach him things. And they name him Klaus after their son. Weeks turn into months, and slowly health and vigor shows him, as his face looks a lot better. Still showing the scars of a cobbled together face, but he does look more handsome by comparison.
Okay, he's grown a little more, looking a little more better now.
Yep, as we then see him talk with Jonathan. So, if we finish here by noon, we can see to the fences this afternoon. How's that sound, my boy? That sounds fine, father. Bah! Another stone tumbled from the slope, and to think I used to plow around those things. So he tosses the boulder. Wham! Now about those fences. It was a perfect idyllic, one might say, and would have remained so for until a passerby sees it. My mind is made up. I am happy here, but I feel I should resolve things with the man who created me. He alone knows my heritage and true identity. I will seek him out, have my questions answered and returned. You may not like what you find, Klaus. Does it matter as such? Unfortunately, then, and Luthor is there with the militia ready to attack.
Oh no.
Find it, smoke it out, kill it in the name of all that's holy. and murderer. But then Jonathan charges out there, but then he has a heart attack. Murderers, get away, get away! And he's just like, Father,
Oh,
no, no! There it is, the monster. See how it moves, quick before it turns to us. Now, from the ship, Lex had made also taken ends up being a piece of kryptonite used as his own cane. Well,
okay.
well, you now speak. Damn you to eternity! Why have you done this? Why? Stay back, I say! And sure, the creature falls from it. Both Crystal and creature had the same alien origin, and as they say, like forces repel. And he starts whacking him with it. But then, mother! He runs into the burning farmhouse. That's the last of him, Herr Luthor. The whole place is aflame. Watch for survivors. I have a wedding to attend to. He basically was able to get pulse things together and be able to wed him. To get ready to
Okay.
marry Eloise. And then hold on. Luthor barely had time to ride back to his mansion and wipe the soot from his brow. The guests await him, as did his best man, James Olafson, and his perfect bride. But then Superman, or the creature, flies through, but there was no
James
happy.
Olsen. James Olsen.
Yep, flies right through into the church. Oh, it's you. You! Stand aside, lady. Let me face the murderer. No, sir, I beg you, not here. But then Lex takes out the gun. Vicktor, what are you doing? Pacham, pacham! Damn. Oh, but then the a bullet ricocheted and hit Eloise.
Oh
Murder.
no.
Yeah, you speak too much as he whacks him with the cane, just beats him down. Monster! Luthor sent his guests away. They fled the tragedy willingly. Only James Olafson remained, determined to watch over his friend's erratic behavior. He tried to find Vicktor and found instead Murgermeister Edge smothered on the couch he had been carried to. I should mention that's more what it is. They mix Eloise Lois with, but have it be her. She's more mixed with Morgan Edge. So that
Okay,
wasn't
I got
Sarah
it.
Lane. That was Morgan Edge being smothered. All of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden was a sound boy. He knew the events were now racing out of control, and that his dearest friend Vicktor was hurtling to damnation. He searched the building for him and found him in his laboratory. Oh, Vicktor! As he's trying to do the same thing to Eloise, and then Lex shoots and kills Jimmy. Oh
Oh,
no, he didn't kill him. He just shot him, and he falls down. Down
okay.
underground where the creature is. What has he done to you? As he has a necklace of the kryptonite. I think he's killed me. You have to. What are these green stones? What he's done. But then we see Eloise come back up. Yes, yes. Thank heavens I salvaged the star device from the man's fire. She lives. She lives again. My Eloise. Vicktor, be calm, my love. I've given you back your life. My life, Vicktor. Vicktor, you made me a monster. Luthor! Luthor, you animal! All you! You live! Help me! I don't know what I am! The pain will pass. Trust me, you will be whole again. I trust you. Get away from her! Wham! Knocks and Lex right into the cauldron, causing a chain reaction. Let me save you again. Yes, yes. They kiss as the fire bellows as they both take to the air. Oh, we're back to then James and Perry. Oh, Peregrine, this is too much. You expect me to believe this? As I swallowed your tale of the bat, James, perhaps if I supply you with the tale's perverance and its epilogue. I was on a ship bound for Archangel. The details don't matter. Suffice it to say, we were icebound on a ship. The crew were working at the pack ice with picks when they saw the figure in the distance. We brought the poor man. It was Vicktor, and offered him all comfort. He was delusional. I watched over him as he slumbered, fitfully trying to discover what had driven him to this extremity. He had a journal. Therein I read his history, how he scoured the world for his creation. At the end were tales of a fortress of solitude in the deepest regions of ice, where Klaus and Eloise could live in harmony. Luthor lasted one night, then the aching cold of exposure took him. I was on and by him on deck when the visitation came. As we now see Klaus, or the creature, looking perfect now. I, good Lord, I have come for my creator. He said nothing else. As he carried the limp form aloft, he turned his superhuman eyes down and melted the ice to free us. As he does so, then he was gone. Glory be, and if he's still out there, this Superman and his mate, who can say? Not I. Well, I can't top that story. As they start to leave, a pleasure as always, Commissioner Gordon. As always, Mr. White, and all too infrequent. Till we meet again.
Wow.
How was that?
This was awesome. I really liked it. This one. They was both great, but each one in their own right. You know, Superman's monster form, and then Batman's Jackal and Mr. Hyde was great. I liked it Batman because it took some dark twists and turns, and there was
Whereas this
definite.
one played a bit more straight, and it was more about Lex than it was Superman.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's a tip.
Lost him. Give it a moment, guys, folks. Lost you again. Hello?
Sorry about
I
that.
can hear you now. I can hear you now.
I liked the Superman story because it's just a calm, basic story, and that's just a typical X. You know, just the evil mastermind at everything for his own personal gain at all times.
Exactly. Exactly. But it showed that he was perfect to match up with Victor Frankenstein.
Yeah,
He was
yeah. He
perfect.
was
He
all
was
crazy.
absolutely perfect.
He was all crazy out there.
But yeah,
It's
but I would say though,
alive.
I know, but I would say though, it's hard to decide. I mean, these are really good, but this one, I'm not sure. It felt like a lot of the trappings were tacked on, unlike the Batman one, which felt more organic.
Yeah, the Batman was a little more organic.
This one
This
felt a
one
little
was the
like you had
answer
Jimmy.
to it, though.
You had they had to combine Lois with Morgan Edge, so you got the riches. You had James just tacked on as the best man to Lex, and then have him be shot so he can then um be free the creature. Some of it's the trappings. I mean, at least with the Kent or Kent, it made more sense because it was they were like the blind man, but
Yeah,
taking
well,
a step further.
he ended up on their farm and ended up being raised with them, and that's
Exactly.
how he taught himself to become Superman,
Or at least become more of a normal creature
humanoid.
society. But the one other thing is that we see the woman he saved earlier. You think, given how her reaction is as Eloise, but once you see the artwork, her eyes completely different hair and everything, and yet she seems to recognize him. That's the weird thing of all. It's like,
He was a monster when he saved you. How you recognize him now?
yeah, it's like was this? I think that might have been an error, a colorist flub up.
Continuity era.
I think that was a colorist flub up. I think that was supposed to be Eloise, but it was, but it wasn't because that was how she recognized him.
Well, I really enjoyed it. I wish I could give a narration on the artwork, but send me the covers in a little bit, and I want to see the covers on this. But I really enjoyed these two stories, Rob. Really
Yep,
enjoyed these. It's cool. The
yep.
Batman, if like I have to go scale of 1 to 10, I'd say the Batman would be a 9 on story, you know, and plot twist, and I give the Superman story a 7. You
I
know,
think the
not
other
bad.
the other issue is that the Superman one relies more on the narrations, which I didn't go over all of them.
Okay,
That's the other
okay,
downside. There's a lot of narrations that I just couldn't go over.
gotcha, gotcha.
But yep,
No, they were cool.
yep, but yep. That's all we've got in this one, guys. Thank you all for joining.
I'd like to give a shout out to Nerdette, Bianca, Joseph.
Oh, yep.
They're my
Shout out
heroes,
to Bianca and Nerdette for they help.
and Raymond.
Yep. Oh, and Raymond. Yep. But those two especially though, Bianca and Tristan are backing this channel on my Ko-fi. Check it out if you want. And we'll see you guys all in the
Hit
next
that
one.
like and subscribe next time.
Yep. Take care.